أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. We deal with the siege of Makkatha in 692. We look at the hadith of Sahih Muslim 1333I, and it deals with Abd al-Malik. He kills the Muslims and he kills Ibn Zubair, and he lays a siege upon Makkatha to obtain power and control. And in which case, when he walks, the Kaaba is now demolished and in a state of a ruin, as they violated the sacred site and demolished it in their siege. And in which case, as he walks around the Kaaba, he talks about Ibn Zubair's rebuilding of the Kaaba. And you'll notice that from the hadith, the word ahdimahu is used, and this word means ruined. And this shows us that that he had intention of the Kaaba being ruined, or he uses the word ruined and not demolished, or intention of the Kaaba remaining in a ruin, because he uses the word ruin already. And something that's very interesting is that in 692, the temple of the archaeological ruins called the Temple of Ruwa was destroyed as well. So we have an important question to ask. Is this our real Kaaba, or another of our important holy sites they destroyed? Is the Temple of Ruwa, what they're calling the Temple of Ruwa, is it, or is the Temple of Ruwa masjid where the Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam may have prayed at, one of our very important archaeological sites? And how is it that it's destroyed in the same year? You'll notice that the Khalif in 692, the Khalif of Makkatha at the time, is none other than the son of Al-Zubair, who is promised paradise. Our Muslims, the Muslims. Marwan's crowd, the Umayyads, the other side, is not us, but impostors posing as Muslims and ruining and destroying our holy places and killing our people for position and power. Let's take a look at the Islamic history that we are not taught about. What happened after the unbelievers came to power in 692 in Makkatha? After the siege of Makkatha, it was recorded by people that the Umayyads ruined the Kaaba, rebuilt by Ibn Zubair, who was striving to Allah and took pleasure in its rebuilding to please Allah and follow what the Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and Aisha radiallahu anha said to him. This is clear from the hadith that he was following what was said to him. The unbelieving Umayyads, they tried to hide the location of Makkatha, and they built a new Kaaba to the same old dimensions elsewhere in another location near Ta'if called Al-Qasisiyah, Saudi Arabia, or other area. Al-Hajjaj ibn Yusuf of the Umayyads changed the Hajj route and the places of Hajj and renamed Makkatha to Al-Hajjun, or another name, and he renamed Al-Qasisiyah, or another place, to Makkatha. The Muslims, they called Al-Hajjaj an unbeliever and an apostate, as he standardized masjid orientations to face the Kaaba. So we have to ask, why did he do that when all the Muslims were already praying in the correct direction, already facing the Kaaba? Now we will have to look for hadith narrations from Muslims and check for further proofs about the new Qibla, and do we face it till this day? Exercise for understanding Islamic history and how the siege of Makkatha 692 affected the world from knowledge to ignorance, and to this day, with Muslims following the Umayyad unbelievers instead of Allah and the Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam fully. Remember, one of the first acts of non-following after the Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was done in the rule of Muawiyah Alayhi Salam, where he prevented women and females from masjids. And this was reported by Aisha radiallahu anha, who compared this act to the Bani Israel who did that. The Umayyads, the hadith didn't specifically mention it was in Muawiyah's time, but it was between it was after Umar alayhi salam, because the rightly guided caliphs would never ever disobey the commands of Allah. The Umayyads lied and tried to attribute it in history to Umar radiallahu anhu. Put yourself in 692 and note that you want to be ruler of Makkatha. You are greedy for power, wealth and fame, but you are Muslim, and ignorant as to your striving which is for your desires and not in the path of Allah. You go to Ibn Zubair alayhi salam and say to him, you want to be ruler. And he says, no, I'm the duly appointed Khalif and you are not following the Islamic law but your desires. You don't understand him and you wage war. You will take the city without destroying the Kaaba and with minimal loss of life. And you may still promote the following of Islam according to the representation of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You will destroy the Kaaba and violate its sanctuary, take away rights of women and prevent the women and people from the masjids, make a male-only place, adorn and raise the masjids, hide the Kaaba's location, build a new Kaaba elsewhere, change names of cities, raise its foundations, lie, carpet the floors of masjids with red carpets, teach from sex scholars books instead of the Quran and Hadith with translations, lie to women, ensure they wear parda while they don't wear the compulsory Quranic ordained clothes, a khimar over the bosom and jilbab, which is the same as a medieval cape over the head and clothes, and play many games to prevent following in good deeds in the cause of Allah by men and women. You would want to cause people to not follow Allah and the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now consider then, the Umayyads did that in 692. And then they went on to most of the Muslim countries who were taught Islam by the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam and reconquered most of them, right to Spain, and changed the version of Islam to non-following and unbelief. Now consider then, the Umayyads did that in 692, and then they went on to most of the countries who were taught Islam by the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam and reconquered most of them, right to Spain, and changed the version of Islam to their unbeliefs and non-following, which is followed in our country as a representation of Islam till this day. 692, the siege of Makkatha, a sad day of mourning for Muslims. When we lost our Muslims, our Sahaba passed away. They were killed. We lost our Khalif Ibn Zubair, a Khalif of knowledge, and Makkatha to the Umayyads, unbelievers. Countries, generations of Muslims worldwide were moved and affected from knowledge to ignorance and unfollowing and partial following, an era of ignorance right till this day. May Allah save us from following anyone except him and the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ameen. We look at verse 2, 143. Verse 2, 143. And not be made or appointed that the direction that which you were on it, except two, for we know who they follow, went behind, went after the messenger. From those they turn back on their heels. The Qibla direction is linked to the followers of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Those who follow, those who go after. If we look further to the breakdown, it says clearly, he, she, they follow, went behind, went after the messenger. In 693 to 694, Abd al-Malik ibn Marwan made a decree. The Muslims were ordered to face the Qibla direction of the Umayyads. Let's look carefully whether we are facing the right direction, as we are witnessing Umayyad prevention of females from masjids and other unbeliefs till this day. We ask Allah, Ya Mawlana, please guide us to determine whether we face the correct direction, and let us face the direction of the Qibla given by you to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as we are your slaves and the followers of our messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and indeed you are our Mawlana. Ameen. We see that 692 to 3 onwards, the suffering of Muslims after Umayyad conquest from Al-Hajjaj. The Dar es Salaam translation states, we went to Anas bin Malik and complained about the wrong we were suffering at the hand of Al-Hajjaj. Anas bin Malik said, be patient till you meet your Lord, for no time will come upon you, but the time following it will be worse than it. I heard that from the Prophet. We check the translation. It says, he said, we came to Anas bin Malik and we complained to him about what we suffered from Al-Hajjaj. Be patient. Umayyads were unbelievers who were killing Muslims and who were causing them to suffer. And they were doing things with Qibla directions and preventing women from the masjid's back rows. Go further to the breakdown. It states, be patient, endure, persevere. Indeed, verily, naught will arrive upon you, a time era period, except that which follows it after it is worse evil, more evil than it, until you encounter your Lord. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam clearly shows us the Umayyads are not from us. But today the world's Muslim population still follow their ways in masjids, in with Quran recitation, in their practices with Salah and many other things. They are following the Umayyads and not the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam exactly. Dar es Salaam translation, Sahih al-Bukhari 707, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever takes up arms against us is not from us. The siege 692 siege of Makkatha was an act of fusuk and kufr by the Umayyads. Then consider they conquered most of the Islamic territories. Dar es Salaam translation, Sahih al-Bukhari 7076, narrated Abdullah, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, abusing a Muslim is fusuk, evildoing, and killing him is kufr, disbelief. 693 onwards, ruler Abd al-Malik, kufr in the religion of Islam practices present till this day. He doesn't waste time in bringing his own practice of the Kafirs to be practiced by knowledgeable and ignorant Muslims, knowledgeable that they should not be following him, and ignorant Muslims, and have affected generations and us right till this day. He prevents women from masjids to break down community communication and cause grave non-following of the Quran, the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He does non-following of the commandments of Allah, and he affects them praying in the Jama'ah, obtaining good deeds, and obtaining Islamic education. Further, he standardizes the prayer. He goes and interferes with the prayer. He changes it from a structure of spirituality to a structure of more standardized, based on structure as opposed to spirituality. And he moves away from the practice and habits of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He limits communication and he starts regulating Imam's sermons so that they only say what he chooses. He standardizes and chooses a Quran style, a style of Nafi ibn Abd al-Rahman, the Quran style of which the Kafirs chose. They recite, this Quran style is recited as the only style till this day because they break the laws of the Quran, which state the laws of separating the words on pronunciation, and they do joinders, which is not allowed in the Quran, to change meanings of words, and other rules of the Quran. Ibn Taymiyyah considered Nafi's Quranic recitation style a deviation from the prophetic sunnah due to several reasons. Addition of vowel lengths. Nafi's style introduced longer vowel lengths, which Ibn Taymiyyah saw as an innovation. Changes in tajweed rules. Nafi's style modified tajweed rules such as idgham, consonant merging, and iqlab, consonant substitution. Let's give an example. Bismi Allahi. They did merging and said Bismillahi. Let's give an example of consonant substitution. They changed Bismi Allahi al-Rahmani and they changed it to ar-Rahmani. And that is a deviation with the names of Allah. Unnecessary joinders of the Quran, of the words of the Quran to other words, and which is not allowed in Islam. It's not allowed in terms of the rules of tartil, the Quran. It's not allowed. And further, they did further things. For example, introduction of a new recitation patterns. Nafi style included novel recitation patterns such as tarqiq, softening, and tashdeed, strengthening. He deviated from the companions' recitation. Ibn Taymiyyah believed Nafi style differed from the recitation of prominent companions. And They played other games that can all be viewed at our local masjids at most places on earth. The followers of the habits of Ummayyad ruler Abd al-Malik, who was not a Muslim in terms of Islamic law but a Kafir. Take note, Muslims are not allowed to set foot and stand in the masjids of those who oppose Allah and the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and in masjids which do not follow the Islamic law they are not based upon taqwa from the first day. We are forbidden to stand in those masjids. Now let's learn about the Islamic two easts and two wests so that we can map our Kaaba and determine whether we are facing the Umayyads' Kaaba or ours. Concerning is that it is not our religion being represented correctly but their deviations falsely as Islam. For example, the recitation of the Quran by people right now is not a correct representation. The prevention of women from the back rows of the masjid when it's compulsory for them to be in the masjid's back rows on Fridays. The salah practices is not in following completely of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but the practices of Abd al-Malik. Now, then we can see what Abd al-Malik's orders. Further, he made an order in terms of the change of our Qibla. So we will have to look and see what did Abd al-Malik's order were about in respect to the change of our Qibla, because we have to face our Qibla and we have to visit our Kaaba, inshallah, ameen, because we are the followers of the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and not the Umayyads or anybody else except Allah and the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Let's look further. 693 to present, ruler Abd al-Malik's games with salah practices. He shortened the prayers. Historical records suggest to approximately Fajr 2 to 3 minutes, Zuhr about 5 to 7 minutes, Asr about 3 to 5 minutes approximately, Maghrib to 2 to 3 minutes, Isha to 3 to 5 minutes. From the example of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which was estimated Fajr about 30 to 6 minutes, Zuhr 30 to 90 minutes, Asr 30 to 60 minutes, Maghrib prayer 15 to 30 minutes, Isha 30 to 6 minutes. Now, in South Africa and all over the world, in view the year 692, when the Kafir ruler Abd al-Malik, his practices are at masjids worldwide right now in the year 2024. And take note, Muslims are not allowed to stand in masjids not built upon taqwa from the first day. The siege of Makkatha, 692. We lost our Muslims, brothers and sisters. Our Kaaba was destroyed. Our men of knowledge, rulers, caliphs of knowledge was taken away. That Ibn Zubair was the last caliph of knowledge that we had. There may have been others, but he is from the Sahaba, the companions of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam at Makkatha. And men of ignorance came into power to rule and oppress the Muslim world, and their effect can be seen till this day.